Welcome to Vintage SF. I'm Richard Rempel. Roger Zelazny says that he wrote this book in one draft, no rewrite. Jack of Shadows was originally serialized in the Magazine of Fantasy and Science Fiction in 1971 and was immediately reprinted in hardcover by Walker and Company, followed by a paperback edition from Signet in 1972. It was nominated for both the Hugo and Locus Awards in 1972. Gary Gygax, co-creator of Dungeons & Dragons, in his 1979 Dungeon Master's Guide, has an appendix, Appendix N, inspirational and educational reading. It lists authors and works that are identified by Gygax as source for the many concepts. One of the books listed, Roger Zelazny's Jack of Shadows. The Earth no longer rotates. Science rules the day side of the globe. Magic rules the world of night. And Jack of Shadows, Shadow Jack the Thief, who broke the compact and duped the Lord of High Dudgeon, who was beheaded in Iglaze and rose again from the dung pits of Glive, who drank the blood of a vampire and swallowed a stone. Shadow Jack walks in silence and in shadows to seek vengeance upon his enemies. Jack of Shadows is a dark side magician, a man with no soul, a twilight thief who uses magic and whose power comes from shadows. He is caught in his thieving ways and just a few pages into the book beheaded. But he has extra lives. The catch? He's flung far into the dark side and has to rise from the dung pits of Glive. Thus begins an epic journey back to the light, back for vengeance, back for the one he loves, Evine. Jack of Shadows has one true friend, Morning Star, a creature that is half frozen on a mountain overviewing the eternal sunrise of the unmoving earth. A spell has been cast on him, and he will not be freed until he is in full sunlight. In Shadow Jack's journey to the light, he stops and consults with his friend, an oracle. "You are perhaps my only friend," said Jack. "You have nothing that I wish to steal. I have nothing that you really need." "It may be that you pity me, bound as I am to this spot." "What is pity?" asked Jack. "Pity is that which bound me here to await the dawn." "Then I'll have none of it," said Jack, "for I've a need to move around." "I know. The one-half world has been informed that you have broken the compact." "Do they know why?" "No. Do you?" "Of course." "How?" "From the shape of a cloud I know that a man in a distant city will quarrel with his wife 3 seasons hence, and a murderer will be hanged before I finish speaking. From the falling of a stone I know the number of maidens being seduced, and the movements of icebergs on the other side of the world. From the texture of the wind I know where next the lightning will fall. So long have I watched, and so much am I part of all things, that nothing is hidden from me. You know where I go?" "Yes." "And what I would do there?" "I know that too." "Then tell me, if you know, will I succeed in that which I desire?" "You will succeed in that which you are about, but by then it may not be what you desire." "I do not understand you, Morning Star." "I know that too. But that is the way it is with all oracles, Jack. When that which is foreseen comes to pass, the inquirer is no longer the same person he was when he posed the question. It is impossible to make a man understand what he will become with the passage of time, and it is only a future self to whom a prophecy is truly relevant." "Fair enough," said Jack. "Only I am not a man, I am a dark-sider. You are all men, whatever side of the world you call home." "I have no soul, and I do not change." "You change," said Morning Star. "Everything that lives changes or dies. Your people are cold, but their world is warm, endowed as it is with enchantment, glamoury, wonder. The Lightlanders know feelings you will not understand, though their science is as cold as your people's hearts. Yet they would appreciate your realm if they did not fear it so, and you might enjoy their feelings, but for the same reason. Still, the capacity is there in each of you. The fear need but give way to understanding, for you are mere images of one another. So do not speak to me of souls when you have never seen one, man. It is as you said. I do not understand. Jack seated himself upon a rock and, as did Morning Star, stared into the east. After a time, "You told me that you wait here for the dawn," he said, "to see the sun rise above the horizon." "Yes." "I believe that you will wait here forever." "It is possible." "Don't you know? I thought you knew all things." "I know many things, not all things. There is a difference." I think this is a good spot to stop in order to not spoil the story. Jack of Shadows is a short novel at 142 pages in the Signet edition. Yet, it is dense with imagery and characters that are very memorable. So is it brilliant, or are there problems with it being a first draft? It's a bit of both. I think that Zelazny didn't exactly know where he was going with this story. As he was developing the story, as he was writing, there are some things that kind of come back on each other, or there's parts where you go, you know what, if he had edited this, it would fit together better. That said, there are some amazing passages in here, ones that stick with me, visual images. The friendship of Jack and Morning Star is especially an interesting and poignant one. Being landlocked in that position between the dark and the light, you might think we would only see Morning Star once in this novel. But we do see Morning Star again. This experiment of a one-draft novel proves again the brilliance of Roger Zelazny. Do I wish that he had done some more drafts? Yes, I do. I think this could have been a classic. But as it stands, it is still wonderful. Now, before I give a rating, I do want to say that after the outro, I will have a spoiler section where I talk about the end of the novel. So make sure that you leave at the outro if you don't want to be spoiled. But if you have read this novel or are very curious, I want to continue to discuss a couple items there. Back to the rating. This novel has some wonderful characters and brilliant scenes, but it doesn't quite hang together as well as it could have if there had been more drafts. I give it 7.5 out of 10. So have you read Jack of Shadows? I'm curious about what you think about the ending, but I don't want you to spoil it for other people in the comments. Do stay tuned after the outro if you want to find out more. Until next time, look to the dawn and keep reading. This is the spoiler section. I just want to reveal a couple things about the novel here, and we're going to read the last couple paragraphs of the novel. Jack has made a journey which ultimately frees the world from being locked and not rotating. As the rotation starts, things are falling apart, and Jack, on his last life, is plunged off of a castle. As he was cast over the edge, he was able to turn and look upward. Falling, he saw a dark figure in the sky that grew even as his eyes passed over it. Of course, he thought, he has finally looked upon the sunrise and been freed. Wings folded, his great horned countenance impassive, Morning Star dropped like a black meteor. As he drew near, he extended his arms full length and opened his massive hands. Jack wondered whether he would arrive in time. I think this is a masterful ending. Know that there are no sequels to Jack of Shadows. What do you think? If you can comment without giving away this ending, please do. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Until the dawn rises, keep reading.